we must tread through these fanfictions and burn it as fuel through our journey. Through the under-TAIL tag! Hello everybody, and today I'm going to be doing something not different. It's going to be another fanfiction. That's Sans X Reader, but this one is different. Not by this Rainwright's Undertale guy. It is Ink is Sinning. It's someone else. So it's shorter. The video hopefully won't take as long as the other ones did. So, I wanted to tell you that I did read this one before, too. Well, I just, did, around an hour ago, and it drops the F-bomb a lot. And I just wanted to let you know that, so I will be keeping a F-bomb count, one counter up in the corner once I edit this, and see how many F-bombs it has. Hopefully I'll remember, which I probably will, but it's pretty much my main purpose in reading this, just to see how many times it drops the F-bomb without writing tally marks and doing it myself. I wanted to do it for you guys as well, so here we go. Okay. It had been a pretty long day for you. Not exactly a bad day or a hard day. Just a long one. Sure, there have been some problems at work, but there always were. It was good to be home. You listened into the silence of the house after closing the door. You couldn't hear anything. You shrugged. Sans was probably asleep. You dumped your keys and wallet into their usual spot, stretching your arms outwards. Your elbows clicked, and you breathed out as your arms fell back to your sides. Shower first or eat first, you asked yourself quietly. You walked into the kitchen, opening the fridge the same way it was when you left this morning, meaning either Sans had just gotten fast food again or he hadn't eaten. Of course he's eaten, you told himself. You weren't completely convinced, though, since there was no sign of leftover pizza or fries or anything of that sort, but you figured he would have eaten. But he was still asleep when you left for work, and he'd been out for a long time. Surely he ate. Shrugging away your worry, you decided that food could wait. You weren't really that hungry, and oh man, did the shower sound good. You headed into the bathroom, turning on the water. While it heated up, you grabbed a towel. You hung it on the towel rack in the bathroom. You stuck a hand under the flow of the water, then quickly pulled it back as the hot water touched you. You quickly reached in and twisted the cold tap far too much. Water burst out of the tap, and making a noise of distress, you reached into the now freezing water and turned the tap down again. You kept messing with the taps until it was a perfect temperature for you, then slipped out of your clothes. Relief hit you as you stepped into the shower. The water was so good after such a long day. Relaxing as the water washed over you. You were about to reach for the shampoo when you heard the sound of running followed by a thump. Fuck! There goes our first F-bomb. Came from the distant shout from down the hall. You paused, wondering if Sans had fallen over. You okay? You called out. There was no reply other than the sound of continued running, getting closer. The next thing you knew, there was frantic knocking on the door. Please, I know you're showering, but please let me in. I need your help. Here we go, Sans said quickly. Almost too quickly, you barely understood him. Sure? You asked. You said, confused. No sooner than the word had left your mouth, the door shot open. Sans quickly entered the room, then pressed his back against the door, closing with the thump. He was breathing heavily. I'm so sorry, I really wouldn't do this, but fuck, I need help. He struggled to get the words out, pausing a few times to take a deep breath. Are you okay? He asked, now worried. You peered out from behind the shower curtain. Sans looked okay for the most part. Well, not exactly, he hesitated, making a muffled noise that he didn't know what to think of. What does that mean, you asked? He groaned in frustration. I'm fucking hell. I told you about heats, right? Monster heats, I mean. Yeah? He said uncertainly. He briefly remembered him explaining it. Well, take a guess, he said in a strained tone. I woke up and you were gone. About 20 minutes later, I realized I've been fucking hell ever since then. I've been waiting all day for you to get home, and basically what I'm saying is that I need you to fuck me now, right now. Well, that was straightforward. You one-sided. It's not like sex was new to you or him. The heats were something else, apart from what Sans had told you. You never seen Monster in heat before. Finally, you spoke. How long do these last? It varies, Sans replied. Ah! He slammed a fist against the door. Look, I need an answer right now because I need to come. Or my own or somebody else's. Okay, but we're doing it my way, you finally said. What the fuck does that mean? Sans shouted. You shushed him. It means it means get in the shower with me, you replied, with a groan of frustration and several mumbled curse words. Sans started tearing his clothes from his body. You swore you heard something rip. Finally, the skeleton pushed your curtain aside and stepped in beside you. He quickly jumped away from the water. What the fuck? I'm telling you I'm in heat. Hello? Heat? Hot? I need to cool down. Warm up more? He complained. You laughed, turning the cold tap slightly as the Sans growled about not being funny. Calm down. This is how it's gonna work. In due time, I'll fuck you as hard as you need. But for now, I barely got in the shower before you barged in on me, so I'm going to clean myself. You're going to do what I tell you while I am. If you behave, I'll turn the water temperature down. If you complain, I'll turn it back up. Got it? You explained. Sans groaned. Fine, hurry up, he said. You grabbed the shampoo, putting some in your hand and massaging it in your hair. Why don't you just touch your ribs a little bit, you said, voice sounding suggestive, but Sans knew it was in order. He sighed, looking away from you. His fingers slowly slid across his bones. He finished applying the shampoo to your hair, then turned the tap slightly. Why am I being an idiot? It was a bit too cold for your liking now, but you'd made a deal. You could deal with it being freezing until your boyfriend could think straight. You rinsed out your hair, then looked over at Sans. He was still touching his ribs. Good. Oh, come on, don't be shy. It's just me looking away, he said. Sans hesitated until your hand moved back to the tap. He looked back at you. You could see the blue blush on his face. Can we move on now? He asked impatiently. You nodded, running a finger over his hip bones. He shuddered. Here should do for your next target, you said, stepping back and grabbing the container. Or conditioner! Oh my god! I am an idiot. His hands moved down, but he managed to chuckle. You make it sound like I'm a secret agent, he said. You laughed but didn't reply. You conditioned your hair, then turned to tap down again. Sans was letting out little moans every now and then. They were musical. You rinsed out your hair slightly, not wanting to erase the effects of the conditioner, and then reached for the body wash. Alright, Sans, last a little bit. I promise, you know what to do. You said as he started applying it. Thank fuck, Sans mumbled. His eye glowed, and his dick materialized. He put his hand around it and started jerking slowly. He smiled. He hadn't even had to tell him. He turned the tap down, trying to ignore the freezing water as he stepped under to wash off your body wash. Sans was worried about being quiet. He was moaning quite loudly and swearing as often as he could. He washed the soap out from your skin, then locked eyes with the skeleton. His tongue was out, and jewels on the side of his mouth. He reached out, wiping it away, and then leaned to kiss him softly. He moaned into it and then pulled back slightly. Can I please come now? He panted out. You gave him a quick kiss, then slowly moved down to your knees. You stopped his hand, replacing it with your mouth, bobbing your head and quickly. A hand grabbed at your hair. You could hear Sans begging for his release. It didn't take long for him to come as he shouted your name loudly as he did. You were a bit overwhelmed by the amount, but it forced yourself to swallow it. You licked whatever might be left off your lips, looking up at Sans, who was still grasping for your hair. I need more, he said quietly. You smirked, standing up and turning off the shower. And you'll get more. Come on, no more teasing. You promised, stepping out of the shower, drying yourself as quickly as you could, not too concerned about the wet hair. He tossed a towel to the Sans. He started drying himself, but with all those bones, it was taking him a lot longer than it had with you. You waited patiently, but could tell that the skeleton was far less patient. He was frantically trying to dry himself popular. It was almost funny. That'll do. We're just trying to be dry enough to not completely fuck up the sheets, he said. He dropped the towel onto the floor, then exited the room, grabbing your hand and trying to lead you up to the room. Oh, your room. Ugh! He was convinced that you were walking slowly to tease him, calling it out for the entire way to said room. You finally entered your room, closing the door behind you. Sans kept tugging at your hand, but instead of you tugged back, pulling him against you for another kiss. This one was sloppy, but neither of you really cared. You kept advancing, pushing Sans very slowly towards the bed. Finally, you stopped just before the edge and pushed him down gently. He sat down on the edge of the bed and you straddled his lap, pushing him back to lie down. You pulled away from the kiss, both of you sliding further into the bed. From there, you trailed your way down, kissing as many bones as you could before stopping at his hips. You slid forward again, this time grinding against him. He gasped and let out a whine. You said no teasing, he complained. You chuckled, positioning his length at your entrance and slowly inching down onto him. You paused after his whole length was in, adjusting yourself to it before slowly rolling your hips against his. He responded right away, thrusting up to meet you. Too slow, go faster, he breathed out. He put a finger to his teeth. His tongue darted out to lick your finger. You chuckled. How could you argue with that? You moved a bit faster, noticing his hands gripping at the sheets. You better not tear those sheets. Those are the good ones, you warned. Sans laughed. And yet, you don't really care that I'm probably gonna get cum all over me, taunted. You laughed too. It was kind of funny. You kept increasing the pace slowly, urged by those beautiful noises Sans was making. He was so perfectly loud, the neighbors were probably hearing every bit of this. You apologized later, informing them there was way more where that came from. Pun absolutely intended. Sans grabbed your hips hard, helping to steady both of you. He knew already that you would be bruises later, and it didn't concern you at all. You found yourself letting out loud noises of your own, none louder than his. I'm so fucking close. Ah! He panted out. You slammed your hips against him, feeling his dick against your sweet spot, making you see stars for a moment. Continued the hard motions, feeling Sans explode inside you, hearing him shout as he did. The warm feeling sent you over the edge as well, and you were seeing white as he came. You took a few minutes to try to get your breath back. You gazed down at Sans. And as always after sex, he was a vision of afterglow perfection. His tongue was hanging out again, his eye sockets half closed. You felt his hand slide away from your hips. He began. You already knew, and you silenced him with a kiss. I know, babe. I just need a minute, you promised. You looked at the clock and glowing red. It said 10:48. Oh boy, it was gonna be a long night. Done! I lost track of the F-bombs in my head, so I will have to count them when I'm editing. I will have to remember that. So, I'm sorry if I didn't laugh as much as I did. I was expecting everything, and nothing was really like a trigger like the Bone Zone thing in the first one. So, I guess we're done for now. I will probably dig up another one. Plus, I put a poll up on DeviantArt for the next one, whether I should read a Papyrus one again or a Sans one again. I'll put the link for that in the description, and you guys could vote your heart out if you have a DeviantArt account, of course. So, see you guys.